Weiler. 10th place overall, not a name you would have expected to see at this point of the competition, but has played his cards right, and here he is for the remainder of the competition. Again, both pegs need to get to the top, and then both pegs need to get below that red line for the rep count. Noah Olson, Matt Fraser, Jorgen Gudmundsson got off the wall at the same time. Jacob Hepner closest to the camera. Now they're on to their 100 double unders. There are 22 scored repetitions in each round. They will get credit for just one rep once they complete the double under. So at 22, that will signify the end of round one. First of 5 rounds here in event 7.
You're looking at the first round, since there's 5 of them, it's kind of a feeler round. You don't need to go fast. Nobody in here is going to win the event in the first round. And you don't have to be cautious either. Right? You can just climb the pegboard, do 100 double unders, find your rhythm on the snatch, know what that dumbbell's going to feel like when you transfer from snatch to clean and jerk, get used to that split and that alternating pull. So this first round's a feeler round for a lot of these athletes.
I feel like with dumbbells, they're a movement where rhythm really can help you out. And that's one of those things where the more rounds you do, in a lot of ways, the better a dumbbell feels.
Matt Fraser in the green and Noah Olson in the red shorts. First 2 men onto their hang split snatches at 80 pounds. Remember, you have to put the opposite leg forward from the arm with which you're lifting. You lift with your right hand, your left leg has to go forward and vice versa.
It is so weird seeing Matt in a jersey that isn't white.
Yeah, it's taking some getting used to. No rep for Fraser on his first hang, split, clean, and jerk. Fraser and Olson and Jorgen Gudmundsson on the right. They are your leaders. Matt McLeod and Jacob Hepner are fighting for 4th place in the heat, but we are early, just the first of 5 rounds here. Fraser through 17, now 18 of the 22 reps in this opening round. Olson 1 rep back. 80 pounds on the dumbbell for the men. And Fraser and Olson dead even through 1. We move on to round number 2.
Hey, first feeler round is done. Now it's starting to get into your pace, start chipping away at this event. Was that first pegboard easy? How'd you feel coming to the rope? What pace were you holding through the double unders? Could you push the dumbbells a little bit quicker? Now it's time to test some things in the next 2 rounds.
Matt Fraser done first with his second of 5 pegboard climbs, and now he is on to his second round of 100 double unders. 22 more scored repetitions in this round. 44 will signify the end. The leader's name is highlighted in a blue box at the top of your screen, and the number in the white box will signify how many repetitions that man has completed. Jacob Hepner in lane 1, he is back for his second pegboard ascent as he begins round 2. Now James Newberry returning to start round 2. These are your leaders, Matt Fraser in the middle, Noah Olson on the left and second, and Jorgen Gudmundsson on the right.
The thing with double unders in the middle of this triplet is that this is your time to kind of think about your game plan coming into the dumbbells. No one's going to come to the middle part of this 100 double unders and try to beat everybody. And often when you try to do that, you trip up a few times and you do the exact opposite of what you wanted to try to do. When you get to the double unders, it's just stay consistent, maybe bring the heart rate down a little bit, move on to the dumbbell.
Matt Fraser done with his second set of double unders first. He is slightly ahead of Noah Olson as Olson will now join Fraser on the 80-pound dumbbell hang snatches.
I think I like what Matt's doing on the right side of your screen is that he's bringing the dumbbell down to the shoulder and then going into the hang. We talked about grip stamina earlier as being an issue. If you came straight down from the top, it's going to put a tremendous amount of stress on your grip and your shoulders being able to stabilize that in. So you've seen some guys go straight down to the ground. You can see Jorgen Gudmundsson actually doing that on the right side of your screen. It's a very smart move by Matt Fraser to save his grip.
Fraser now on to the 10 hang dumbbell clean and jerks. Now, even though Fraser's beating Olson right now, if Olson stays close, he minimizes the damage. If they finish right next to each other, all Fraser can pick up is 10 points.
And it's a good feeling for Noah. It's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Getting second to Matt Fraser. Well, I think you're in a pretty good position. A lot of people have been second to Matt Fraser. And what you want to see is that it is only 10 points. It's good for Noah, but 10 points, 10 points, 10
starts
points.
To add up.
Starts to add up. And now you start putting the pressure on perfection on some of these athletes. Because if Matt is going to go on a charge collecting first places again, the demand and the stress on those other athletes becomes greater.
And the charge might be starting now as Matt Fraser walking back to the pegboard to start round number 3. Here comes Noah Olsen solidly in second place, and Bjorgvin Gudmundsson continues in third. But Matt Fraser, hard work pays off is his motto, and he's going to have to put a lot of that in here over the next events in order to catch Noah Olsen. So Fraser, that is not the jersey he wants anyway, so he's not going to wear it anymore. Jacob Hepner, James Newberry, and Scott Panchik in that group of men who are now just finishing up round number 2. We are on to round number 3. 66, the magic number in the scoreboard that they need to hit before they will move on to round number 4. Olsen on the left, Fraser on the right. Noah Olsen coming into this event with 499 points, 65 up on Fraser.
Here's what I want to see from Noah Olsen. I didn't say you had to win the event to have a great event here. I want to see how you handle the pressure of the event. This is going to be an imperative moment for Noah Olsen. If Matt is going to be great at this event, don't try to beat him. Try to beat everybody else trying to beat him. And what we've seen from Noah in the past is that he's tried to win events he has no business trying to win, and he ends up blowing it up. We saw it a couple years ago on the rope climb, the 2-2-2-3.
Yes.
Right? Pacing yourself out. You're great at all of those things, but you put yourself at a disadvantage by going too hard. Maybe let Matt just take this one. The kid's second. Take the 10-point loss and move on to the next event.
Matt Fraser now starting to pull away from Noah Olsen. This is round 3, 10 more. Hang dumbbell split snatches for Fraser. Now Olsen has had a few trips here on the double unders. He's done. Bjorgvin Gudmundsson, bottom left of your screen, trying to gain some ground as Matt McLeod in lane 8 and Scott Panchik in lane 4 are now beginning round number 3.
And this is great proof. You know, Scott Panchik actually, I think, missed his first pegboard rep in that first round, but he's made up ground by just being consistent through the rest of the rounds, now sitting in about 4th place behind Fraser.
Fraser with 10 reps to go here in round 3. It's the dumbbell hang split clean and jerk. He didn't split at that point. Now this is where you really have to keep your head about you and make sure that you're doing the movement correctly and not just quickly.
And it just takes a lot of focus, and the problem with focus is that as you get more fatigued, it becomes harder and harder because all they want to do is just push the pace.
Right, you rely on habit.
He can do it. But when you throw that little wrinkle that has no effect on the movement itself other than tricking you, that's where athletes got to really focus on what they're doing.
Noah Olsen still in second place. Has now fallen back into third is Bjorgvin Gudmundsson on the right of your screen, and this is good for Fraser. Fraser needs a lot of people, as many people as possible, to get between himself and Noah Olsen so he can gain as many points as possible and cut into Olsen's lead. Fraser going back now to begin round number 4. Fraser threw 66 of the 110 total repetitions in this event. Scored repetitions, I should say, as the 100 double unders count for just 1 rep on the scoreboard.
Yes, Sean, we just saw Noah Olsen finishing up his clean and jerks. He actually hasn't lost too much ground, but I think he just needs to start focusing more of his attention on BKG than he does in Matt Fraser. It's okay to lose 10 in one event, but it's so easy to lose another 20 in total if Bjorgvin Karl catches up to him if he's not paying attention.
Noah Olsen's rep counter has stopped ticking, but he is in second place. He's on the right of your screen. He's making his way up the pegboard. He is behind Matt Fraser for second place. Fraser is on to his 4th round of 100 double unders, right middle of your screen in the dark blue shorts.
And Noah Olsen isn't completely out of it. I'm not saying he's going to get second because we still have 2 more rounds to go and a lot of work left on the table. And Matt Fraser has missed a few double unders. He got a couple of no reps on the dumbbell. If Noah can clean up his next 2 rounds, he can casually put himself back into contention against Matt Fraser.
Noah Olsen, just stay close to Matt Fraser and then minimize the damage. Olsen is in second. Fraser is in first. And Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson closest to the camera in the maroon tank top. He is in third. And Gudmundsson is ahead of Scott Panchik, the man directly in front of him in the overall standings. So Gudmundsson looking to vault into third place as Matt Fraser is now done with his fourth round of double unders, and he moves on to the dumbbell, the 80-pound dumbbell, 10 hang split snatches. Noah Olsen in the back in the red shorts. He's breaking up his double unders, as is Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson. Olsen back to work. Fraser finishing up his set of 10 hang dumbbell snatches. Now moving on to the hang dumbbell split clean and jerks. Here comes Noah Olsen. But Matt Fraser has built a pretty good lead on the overall leader, Noah Olsen. Olsen coming into the event with a 65-point cushion over Fraser. That will shrink here if this holds. Another no rep for Matt Fraser as Olsen is on his first dumbbell movement, the hang split snatches. Fraser is on his second, the hang dumbbell clean and split jerks. Jacob Hefner and James Newberry, they have just begun round 4. They are falling off the pace. Fraser getting set to close out round number 4. 88 reps. And then it's one final trip back to the pegboard. Olsen going to the chalk. Fraser done with round 4 and on to his 5th and final round as he works his way back to the pegboard. Noah Olsen stays in second, but he and Bjorn Gudmundsson is getting tighter here.
And Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson on the right side of your screen picked it up ahead of Noah, so Noah lost that lead that he had on BKG, that first start of the clean and jerks.
This is good news for Fraser. If Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson can get ahead of Olsen, that means that Fraser can pick up 20 points as opposed to just 10 on Noah Olsen. Fraser, this is his 5th and final trip up and down the pegboard. Fraser's done, and now on to the double unders. Olsen is done with round 4, so he stays in second place ahead of Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson. And Gudmundsson finishing up his hang dumbbell clean and split jerks.
This kid's Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson took a break halfway through, so after 5 reps, he actually put the dumbbell down and had to rest in that set of 10.
No rep for Gudmundsson now, as his footwork wasn't where the judge wanted it to be. It's Matt Fraser alone in first place. And looking to inch closer to Noah Olsen in the overall standings. Olsen, his 5th and final pegboard climb. And now Olsen slips.
Don't go back up right away, please.
But for Olsen now, remember, there are no other heats. So Fraser can win. If Olsen stays where he is, he's only going to surrender 10 points, but Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson is back on the pegboard. He's in lane 7, so Gudmundsson has now overtaken Olsen for second place. That helps Fraser. Gudmundsson done. He's on to the double unders. Fraser's finished with his double unders in this 5th and final round. He will now move to the dumbbell, and here comes Noah Olsen back to the jump rope.
Now, can Noah stay calm after he essentially did an entire pegboard and missed the last peg at the bottom? Can you stay calm enough to get yourself back into position?
It's what we've talked about all weekend, Chase. It's those little tiny mistakes that end up costing you a ton. I mean, like you said, it was the very last hole of that pegboard that Olsen missed. Considering
those little mistakes
exactly.
At this point in time in the competition, with how much is riding on the line for each single position and place finish.
And even just the energy that goes into a pegboard. You miss a clean and jerk, it's not that bad. You miss an entire pegboard rep, that's a lot more effort to get back up.
Matt Fraser is done with his hang split snatches. In the background, in the red short to Noah Olsen. He's on his double unders. Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson on his. Gudmundsson had taken a sizable break, and Olsen kept going. But now Gudmundsson is done, and he will move to the dumbbell. So Gudmundsson now in second place. Fraser with 10 reps to go. Here comes Jorgen Gudmundsson. Noah Olsen making his way back to the dumbbell. Matt Fraser will be making his way to the finish line in just 5 more reps.
It's that braking by Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson that could cost him this second place finish.
2 reps to go for Fraser. He's back. Matt Fraser wins event 7. Noah Olsen now trying just to surrender only 20 points to Fraser. Gudmundsson on the right is ahead of him. Here comes Noah Olsen. They're dead even with 10 reps to go.
Noah Olsen in the final set went unbroken for the set of 10, where Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson has already broken his first set of snatches. BKG has to hold on if he wants to beat Noah.
So far, both athletes are about even. Olsen may have now just overtaken Jorgen Gudmundsson by about half a rep, but now Olsen continuing to work. 3 reps to go for Noah Olsen. He has moved ahead of Jorgen Gudmundsson. 1 rep for Olsen. Olsen is done, and he will finish second.
So impressive by Noah Olsen to miss that pegboard, but still come back and retake that second place position.
Jorgen Gudmundsson takes 3rd. That's good.